Thanks for watching this brief video where I want to take a moment to share with you about a big change for Cornerstone and a very big change in my life.
Yeah, and Cornerstone's 30 years old, and it's not like you haven't experienced some major changes in those 30 years, right?
Yeah, and you say 30 years, that's crazy. It was 1992, September, when we launched this Bible study in our home, not knowing that it was going to become a church. But soon, very soon, it did. We didn't know everything that God was going to do, but God was definitely working in that Bible study. And we began to have faith that He was actually doing something bigger than something happening in our home. And this fall, we celebrate our 30th birthday as a church. And in those 30 years, we've experienced and witnessed the Holy Spirit do more than we could have ever imagined. As Cornerstone not only grew in numbers, but matured in the faith and consistently pursued all that the Lord prompted us to do. We took a lot of risks in the last 30 years. We had setbacks, but the key to that is, what do you do after a setback? And God taught us through all the experiences we've had to trust in Him. So here I am now.
Well, I think it's cool. I haven't been here for the whole 30 years, but in my 13 years here, I feel like I've had a front row seat to all that God is doing and done through your leadership at Cornerstone. I know 30 years is a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you can look back over that and remember those things and celebrate those things, and it's important for us to celebrate all of that in September, but it's not the only thing we're celebrating in September. You're turning 65.
Yeah, I'm getting old.
You don't look a day over 64.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you
it's
so
good.
much.
But yeah, 30 years. I know you and Brenda have spent a lot of time thinking about the past 30 years here at Cornerstone, and not to mention the years of ministry before that. It's not like you've only been in ministry here at Cornerstone. And your upcoming birthday, and this has led you to a decision about your future.
Yeah, these two things coming together in September, the Lord has used those to prompt us that it's time to step aside. And so we are, in September, turning over the leadership of the church to the staff that we've prepared, and actually feel good about that. Although today I'm feeling kind of sad. This makes it really real to be telling all of you. But I've had a lot of different emotions in the last few months as we've come to this decision.
Yeah, I know we can talk more about what this means for the future of Cornerstone in the weeks to come, but I want to focus on you. Like you said, you're feeling kind of sad. Tell us about like the range of emotions you've gone through and maybe a little bit of the process.
Yeah, well, we had this plan going that I was going to stick around full-time for a couple years and then go part-time and kind of phase out slowly. And God just was like, no, I don't think that's what I want you to do. He's got some other things He wants me to do, and the staff is ready to take it and move this new vision forward. And so the more I sat with it, the more the Lord said, yeah, it's time. Just wrap things up.
I know in our conversations you've had those moments where you're celebrating and grieving all at the same time. What's that been like?
Exactly that. When you know something's right, it doesn't necessarily feel good. And I think it's a really important lesson for all of us, is that sometimes we look for feelings to be good before we'll pull the trigger on something. And in reality, really right decisions sometimes are very hard to make. And so this has been hard. When you start something and work with it for 30 years, you tend to kind of own that. And so your identity's wrapped around it. Who are you outside of that vision? So a lot of that we've had to pray through. And what's great is you come to the conclusion that I work for the Lord. I'm a steward. And He's told me that it's time. Yeah. So that's the decision. It's already been made. So all I have to do is cooperate with what God's doing. And so deep down, I really feel good about this. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think, we talked about your upcoming birthday and 30 years at Cornerstone being big moments and big parts of this decision, but it's not the only thing. You've got some pretty exciting things planned. So what's next for you when it comes to ministry or new ministry, or really things that maybe you're continuing in a lot of ways? What does that look like?
Yeah, and as we've got a couple of months where I'll be very active here, and then it'll start to phase out. Although I'm still going to be preaching here, so I'll still be seeing you guys. But there's this other ministry that's emerged, not only because of COVID, but also just because of all the social upheaval that's taken place in our world, pastors are worn out, and a lot of them are discouraged. And so during this season, God has used me to encourage a lot of Bay Area pastors. And it's been, like, I've shown a willingness, but it's been more than that. It's become a ministry. And so that was one of the factors, even in deciding to let go of Cornerstone sooner rather than later, is that there are a lot of Bay Area pastors that frankly need somebody to come alongside them and say, hey, you're going to be okay, and let's talk about the new normal, and let's talk about moving forward and getting refreshed. And so I'm going to be doing that full time.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a few things as you say that I'm grateful for and excited about. One, I'm excited that we still get to learn from you and your teaching here at Cornerstone. Like, that's not going away. I'm grateful that your leadership and direction and counsel and wisdom for me and our leadership team is going to continue. Like, that's not going away, and you're just a phone call or a cup of coffee away. And I'm really grateful that there are pastors throughout the Bay Area and throughout the world that get to experience the same thing that I've and our leadership and our pastors have had the opportunity to experience our whole time at Cornerstone, and that's you caring for and offering wisdom and honestly, a lot of times just like a listening ear. Like, what are you going through? What's going on?
And sometimes it's just nice to have someone older and a little more experienced just to tell you you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And that's what we've all needed to hear the last couple of years is this is going to work out and we're going to be okay. So let's go back to those values that we know, where we ask the Holy Spirit for help and we're honest about our emotions and our feelings, but also that we don't give up.
Yeah.
It's very important that the Christian leadership in the Bay Area press forward. We have a great opportunity. The world's worn out too. So if we can catch our breath and lean into the Holy Spirit's power, we can communicate that as gospel. And so that's what we're going to do. Cornerstone's going to be doing that. I'm going to be doing that. And I think that makes the future very bright for us.
Well, I just want to make sure that, and we talked about this before, but I'm so grateful for you. And even saying thank you doesn't feel adequate. You've invested so much in me and so much, I know our entire staff feels this way. Thank you for being my pastor, my mentor, my friend. And I have so much gratitude to you and Brenda for creating a church that my wife and I and our kids can be proud to be a part of and be so loved by you. And I know there's a lot of people, everyone watching this video, that feels the same way. Do you have anything that you want to say to them?
Well, yeah, first of all, I love you. It's just been such a privilege this last 30 years to pastor you. And I've truly felt like you let us lead you. And sometimes we didn't know what we were doing, but we're the ones that God put in charge. And so thank you so much just for the humility in that. I think that a lot of you are smarter than me and maybe could have even done a better job. But because we all cooperated and worked together, we have thrived. And also, I just want you to know, we're not going anywhere. We're just going from paid staff to volunteer. And you'll see us around. And when you do see me, if you want to talk about it, or we should share some memories, and let's keep doing that too. Memories are really valuable things, and our memories here are really precious. So, love you.
Yeah. Love you guys.